call me arrogant because what I'm saying is true. I'm European champion, so I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It is the special one time. We're going to dive straight into it. Today's episode, we're basically just going to look at Jose himself, the series objectives and the path that we're going to follow, obviously in similar ways of what Jose did. And then we're just going to look at our first club, Vitória Club Setúbal. But what I'd like you to do, smash a like on today's video for me. I want as many eyes on the channel and as this video as possible. So if you do that, muchly appreciated. And down in the comments below, simple question for today. Do you hate him? Or do you love him? Not me, Jose. Down in the comments, just put hate or love. And I just want to vibe to see what people actually think of Jose. Alright guys, let's get into it. Jose Mario dos Santos Mourinho Felix was born in Setúbal in 1963. Jose grew up in a large middle-class family. His father, Jose Manuel Mourinho Felix, was a professional footballer who played for Vitória Setúbal for over 13 years, and during that time managing to earn one international cap. His mother was a primary school teacher from an affluent background. Her uncle actually funded the construction of the Vitória de Setúbal football stadium during the 1960s. Jose did try to follow in his father's footsteps in becoming a professional footballer, but from his early 20s he focused on football coaching instead, studying sports science at the University of Lisbon. Before he was 30, Jose had landed his first coaching role, taking charge of his hometown club Vitória Setúbal's youth team. Jose then took on the opportunity to work under Sir Bobby Robson at Sporting. Sir Bobby needed an English-speaking local coach to work as his interpreter. Jose followed Sir Bobby onto Porto and then Barcelona, and by the time Sir Bobby left in 1997, Jose had become an integral part of the Barcelona backroom staff. Under the new manager, Louis van Gaal, Jose became assistant manager. In 2000, Jose stepped up to become the new manager of Benfica, replacing the departing Jupp Heynckes. But his first stint in management lasted just 9 games after constant disagreements with the club president over his backroom staff. The situation got even worse for Jose when Manuel Villarino became the new club president. He wanted to appoint ex-Benfica player Tony as the new head coach, and after a row about a new contract, Jose resigned. In the summer of 2001, Jose was appointed manager of United Leiria. He immediately caught the eye of the big clubs again, taking Leiria to 4th in the table in the first half of the season. That January, Mourinho was appointed manager of Porto, and well, the rest is history. Alright guys, that was Jose Mourinho. Now it's time for Jose Trequinho. Let's get into the series objectives that we've got to, and not so much the series objectives and what we've got to do to get where we want to be. Okay, number one, the first thing we're going to start at Setúbal, Vitória Football Club, just where Mourinho started as a youth team coach. Obviously, we're first team manager. The save has become 10 times as hard since the end of the last football season. I'll explain that in a minute. But yeah, we're starting there. The idea is then that we kind of develop as a manager, grow in reputation, and then eventually one of the big three will come calling. Now, I think at the time, obviously, Jose had managed Benfica. He'd been at Sporting, he'd been at Porto. I don't think he was more likely to pick one team over the other. It was the fact that Porto came in at the right time and it was a perfect fit. So I'm open to the three. I would prefer not to pick the current champions, or if there's anyone dominating, I'd rather pick one of the other two. But the second stage is very much getting one of those Portuguese big boys, dominating domestically and then having a real impact in Europe. And then number three, move to a massive club in Spain, Italy or England. We're talking big boys. We're talking Milan's, Juventus's of Italy, the big three in Spain, and then we're looking at Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, maybe the top 6, maybe as far as in England, and then finishing off the save, having a real massive impact in Europe. We're talking domestic titles. It may involve another move. It may involve two two massive European clubs. I don't really want any more than 4 clubs. I'm not a journeyman type of guy, so I do want to limit my moves as much as possible. Obviously, Setúbal may sack me. It may not go out. It may not be as perfect as I want, but they are the stages that we need to get before we move into different countries. We need to make sure we manage one of the big 3, and then I'm only interested in leaving Portugal when we get a massive job. And then number 4 is going to be very difficult because we're sort of like, Jose started in 2000, we're starting in 2020. He's got 20 years on me, plus he's got about another at least 10 years in the game. I'm looking to do 25 years at the most, so he's got a head start on me. If we beat it, we beat it. It won't define the save. I think doing the steps 1, 2 and 3 is the part of the save that I'm more interested in. So that was the series objectives. Now the series has taken a couple of major twists. So in around April, May time, when lockdown was on and I kind of decided to save, I had a little look to see how Vitória were doing. They were actually down near the bottom of the league in a relegation battle. I thought, it would be good if they got relegated, because it kind of adds another narrative to it. They've been relegated out of the top league. They need to return. But anyway, after the COVID break, they finished off the season and they stayed up. I think they won their last game and ended up finishing 3rd bottom. And then I thought, 2 seasons in the top division with Setúbal. After then, we'd maybe then look at moving to a big club if we've had a real good impact over those maybe 3 seasons. And then I left it a couple of months, went back to FM20, didn't think much about it. And then I thought, when the seasons kicked off in September, I thought I'll just have a little look to see how they've started the season, what players they've brought in, how have they started the season, because obviously they were very close to the drop. I think they'd only survived by about a point and finished 3rd bottom to go down. And then this is where the major shock, number 1, happened. So as you can see, Vitória were actually relegated. They finished 3rd bottom, but due to financial problems and not being granted a licence, they were relegated. So then I thought, right, that's fine. We're in the 2nd tier. It kind of fits in with what I wanted to do anyway. We get a chance to rebuild in the 2nd tier, get a promotion under our belt. It's put us behind a little bit in terms of, getting a decent enough reputation and experience to have one of the 3 big boys come and get us, but that's fine. So I went on to Liga 2 to see how they were getting on. Thought they must have started the season well, and they were nowhere to be seen in the league table. Panic station set in. I then went onto trusted Wikipedia and found that they'd been relegated 2 divisions. So now they're in tier 3 in this absolute minefield, which is the Football League system in Portugal for this year. So basically, they've put this championship together in tier 3. They've promoted a load of clubs. There is about 8 divisions of 12 teams. So from 2021 to 22, they're introducing another league. That'll be the 3rd division. So basically, the division that I'm in now, the 3rd tier, which is kind of a regional league, is now being dropped down to the 4th tier. Which means we've got our work cut out, not only to get into tier 2 for the 2nd season, but also to even get into tier 3. Right, so here we are in the 3rd tier. There is 8 divisions of 12 teams. We are in Group H. Now, how it works is, basically, we could finish 2nd this season and end up being relegated to the 4th tier. So remember, this tier is becoming the 4th tier next season. So yeah, we could have a really good season, narrowly miss out. We could miss out on goal difference, go into the playoffs, which decides which tier you go in, either tier 3 or tier 4. We don't do very well in the group stage of that, and we end up getting relegated, and we are in the 4th tier. Now, how it works is, if I finish in any of the bottom 3 places, that goes into a regional league next season. I'll probably get sacked anyway, but the game doesn't drop down as far as that tier. These 3 teams are automatically put in tier 4. If we finish in the playoffs, which is 2nd and 5th, we get put into we get put up against the other 7 groups. We go in a group of 4. We play each other twice. Top 2 teams go through to the 3rd level. The 2 teams that finish 3rd and 4th in the group end up dropping down into the 4th tier, which is still the Campeonato Nacional Prio, whatever you want to call it. But it essentially becomes 4th tier and not 3. To have any chance of getting promoted to the 2nd tier, which we would do if it was any other season, we've got to win this league. We then go in a playoffs with the 7 other championship winning teams. So there's 8, 2 groups of 4. and then we play each other twice in that group of 4, so an extra 6 games. We've got to win that league. If we don't win that league, we then go back and we stay in the sort of like the essential, the third tier, the new division. Does that make sense? So basically, if we finish second, we could still end up getting relegated into the 4th tier. So it's as difficult as it can be. All right, what about Setable? Let's have a little look at the club, couple of players before we finish today's episode. So the club itself is not in great shape. Even though the club's been relegated two divisions, it's not like it's a born-again club. There's no new club from it. It's still the same team, same club essentially. I imagine even the same owner. Our finances are insecure. We're already 2.2 million in debt, which is worrying because normally at this stage of the season with season tickets, we've had nothing for sponsorship. That may come through at a later date. Nope, there's no sponsorship this season. Okay, that's gonna be tricky. History-wise, by the way, new kits. I've had these kits. Lorenzo at FM Custom Kits has done these for me. I'll put his links to his Twitter down below. He's done me some 3D kits as well, so muchly appreciated for that, buddy. I've kept it simple. I didn't want to sponsor. I just wanted a kappa. We've gone with the traditional green and white, and then a navy blue and sky blue shirts for away. We have got nearly a 16,000 seat stadium, but it is quite old. Stadium condition poor. It's not boding well, is it? We're not off to the greatest of starts here. Trophy-wise, there's nothing really. They've won the sort of like the Portuguese Cup 3 times. Last time in 2005, so 15 years without a trophy. Considering the state of the club, that isn't too bad. And then the others, we've won 2 Portuguese second division, 1952 and 1987. So since sort of like the 1960s, where they looked like they had a nice little spell, they've had a barren few years between that and what we're talking there. 40 years, 38 years between winning another major trophy. We're now on 15 years. The job is getting hard. Harder than what I first envisaged when I picked the save. Squad-wise, now the only thing that I'm thinking of is that some of the players have actually stayed, and I'm hoping that we're gonna be mixing it up in this division here, which we need to get out of as soon as possible. Luckily, our semi-professional teams, a lot of them in the 3rd tier anyway, and are generally semi-professional. A lot have moved up to make this bigger league in tier 3 for this year, where they rejig the league. So that's an advantage. A good point is that we may be a lot stronger than some of the others. Negative is that we're not going to have a lot of money coming in terms of tickets if a lot of these clubs are semi-professional. We've got a few on amateur status here. Our top player is a guy called Frederick Mendy, striker, wide target man, 6'4". Yeah, not great. Our best, 5 players there? A 31, 33, 34, 33 and 35. I've heard of Jose Semedo. He's a defensive midfielder, so he'll be fine. 8 pace, 14 tackling. He should be able to do a job in the centre midfield for this season. But yeah, the best players are all over the age of, best 5 players are all over the age of 30. So staff-wise, isn't too bad. We've got a little bit of scope to get my own head physio in, my own sports scientist in, director of football if I want one. I don't normally go down there. We've got an opportunity to get a scout in. Coaches were oversubscribed, so I'll probably leave that for this season. Get my own head of youth development in. Youth, I imagine, is going to be very important for us. Have we got decent youth facilities? I'm going to say no. Adequate. So we're not going to do much in terms of youth development. I'm kind of hoping for the seasons that we're in the lower divisions that we can sign some of the younger Portuguese players that have been released from sort of like the big boys, Benfica, etc. And then work from there. Alright guys, I think that's it for today. There's going to be another episode tomorrow night, 9 PM. We're going to really get stuck into the football side of it, the football manager side of it. We'll get some staff in, maybe try and get a couple of players in. We'll play a pre-season friendly as well. And then Sunday morning's episode will be the start of the first season with Vitória de Setúbal. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't smashed a like on today's video for me, please do it. Be muchly appreciated. Does help the channel, especially with a new series coming out. Does help the channel get spotted. More eyes on it will be muchly appreciated. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9 PM. See you later.